Good morning, this is Jack from Charging the Markets, and this is the pre-market webinar for the morning of Monday, the 24th of March. My disclaimer, I did this for educational purposes only. I'm here to share my technical analysis with you. I hope you can take some of what I'm doing and learn from it, transfer it to your own charts. I'm not here to issue trading signals. Right, I'm starting off with the Bitcoin chart today, which is something I haven't done before, and that's because there's something to illustrate on here which is worth seeing. Now, here we've got obviously a rally going on, as we have on equities, a reversal pattern formed, as it has on equities, and it hasn't failed. And it has non-equities, and we've got an IHS target up here in the 92,000 area. But at the same time, we've been having a high-quality bear flag set up as well. We had a three-touch resistance trend line, arguably four, and then we've got a rising support trend line, which has now got three touches as well. And this is a very nice looking bear flag. I think at the moment it is looking likely that we're forming the bear flag rather than playing out the inverted head and shoulders. Now, I was talking about this on the bigger picture yesterday. I was talking about a target in the 88,500 area, and looks like we're going to get it. But this is something I'm wondering on equities as well. I'm thinking that we may well be forming bear flags, and that these targets for the bottoming patterns, which are nice and haven't been invalidated, are probably irrelevant. So I'm watching that carefully. We've reached the first of the possible trend lines I was looking at here on ES. We've reached the 70 level and slightly over it, and I'm thinking we may well make a high within this bear flag at a trend line to be currently determined, but and we've got a decent chance of getting a sell signal here, and I think we're looking at a high which may well happen possibly today, but more likely tomorrow or Wednesday. So that's what I'm seeing here, and that's what I'm thinking. I was looking at this yesterday morning. I was thinking about this would involve another leg up. It would involve higher highs. At the moment, we are seeing that. Now, we could still go higher and make these targets here, but at the moment, I'm not seeing much reason to think that we're going to. And also, the other thing is, at the beginning of the week last week, I was talking about the touches of the 3SD lower bounds on the weekly charts, and how that would probably give us a couple of weeks rally. Well, we've got a window here, and that goes into April the 2nd, where likely we are going to see an awful lot of big tariff increases, and frankly, I think the options for what happens after that range from bad to exceptionally bad. I don't think there's much in the way of possible good outcomes. So I think the window really ends there. And we don't need to last that long. The sort of rallies that we've been seeing probably lasted at least 9 or 10 days, and actually we've pretty much seen that by the time we get tomorrow or Wednesday. I'm not thinking we're going to see a big decline this week. I'm thinking we will probably possibly retest the lows, and probably continue down from there. Now, if we do retest the lows, which I think at this stage is pretty likely, then we could be forming double bottoms to see a rally. But I think the problem is on timing. That's going to take us past April the 2nd, and I think that's really going to be a big damper on the market. Unless that changes dramatically, which at the moment it hasn't. And I have to say, looking at Trump talk, I think he's really, really keen on this idea. So I think we're going to need to try it. So I think April 2nd is probably going to stay, and that means we're probably looking at a high for this rally this week. NQ, nice support trend line here. Not obvious what the resistance trend line would be. We don't have a really obvious reversal pattern here, although that does put pressure on the Qs. RTY, we've got a nice looking double bottom that is broken up, but I'm very skeptical about reaching the target on it. I think we are making a flag high, and I think it's not obvious where the resistance trend line is going to be, but this is a real contender on RTY, and I'll be watching that. On YM, nice looking IHS, and that held, although barely, on this move down, but and didn't invalidate. But I'm skeptical again about reaching the target on here, which is up in about the 43,800 area. I'm thinking again we're forming a flag here, and we're finding a flag resistance trend line. Right, DAX and the STX, these have actually done less well than I expected overnight, because we've actually got 60-minute buy signals fixed on here and on ESTX. These haven't made target yet, but I have to say this is some weakness overnight. Europe's going to be a big target of tariffs, of course, and it may be that's sinking in, and we are basically just under a week away. We're talking about tariffs going on Wednesday next week. All right, let's have a look at the bigger picture charts on those. Now, on SPX, we've got a decent looking flag here. I've drawn in the obvious flag resistance trend line, which could actually get us up to these double bottom targets. And I am wondering about that. So we'll see. But if these deliver, then this would get us up to do maybe the 5760 area. One thing I would note is that we've got double resistance up here currently. We've got the 200 DMA at about 5750, and we've got the daily middle band at about 5750. We could well reach that and test that today, and either see a slight break up from it and then reject below it, or just fail there. That is the key resistance area. So watching that carefully. Looking at ES, that looks very much the same. So except we don't have the 200 DMA in the same area. Looking at Qs, basically all of them are looking at tests of the daily middle bands. That is the obvious test area on a rally, of course. I don't have an obvious resistance trend line here on NQ, but I'm expecting, on the Qs, but I'm expecting to see this go higher today, and we will find a trend line. I haven't drawn one in here because really I've got about 3 or 4 on this. So rather than make the thing too busy, I'm just going to watch and see where it lands. On Dia, we've got a couple of decent trend lines here. Again, significant higher highs here. We are getting pretty close to the target area here because we're up almost 70 overnight. We will see. All right, looking at IWM. We've got decent looking support trend line. This one, again, we could make the double bottom target with a move up into flag resistance here. But again, I think really we're likely to be looking at flags across the board. DAX, we've still got an RSI 14 sell signal fixed, RSI 5 sell signal fixed, possible double top here, although it's not perfect. No, this second high was a higher high. It wasn't quite on the DAX future, but we'll see. But I think we're likely to turn back down. This double top then may well play out. On Nikkei, we've still got a weak RSI 14 buy signal fixed, but we've made the RSI 5 buy signal target, and I'm thinking this will likely turn back down soon as well. We've still got a load of 60-minute buy signals on the indices. I'm thinking those will probably make target today, and we'll see how it goes from there. All right, great. Let's have a look at the dollar chart. Now, dollar, we've actually got an RSI 5 and RSI 14 buy signal fixed. That is supporting a rally here. We haven't been seeing a lot of action to the upside, but we have broken up from this little double bottom with a target in the 104.5 area, and I'm wondering about a possible test of this trend line here. The declining resistance in about the 105.5 area. ZB, we've got this nice flag. It is broken up. We could be forming a larger flag. Could A, B, C maybe come down into the 115 area. We will see how that goes. But I think one way or another, we're likely to see it. We're likely to see it up in about the 119, 17 area for this retest, as and when this finishes forming. CL, I drew in this bear flag wedge last week, and again, this is another one where we've got a nice looking double bottom. Sorry, IHS in this instance, I think. No, it's double bottom. So we've got a nice looking double bottom. It's broken up, but I'm thinking it looks like we are forming a flag instead. I drew this in, and we've made resistance on it, and we'll see how it goes. But this is the obvious area for it to fail, and I think we've got a date at a retest of 63.57. To possibly make the second low of a double bottom there. Looking at NG, we've got a falling wedge here. Looks pretty nice, likely to be a bull flag if it holds. It's looking a little worn on the support trend line here, but if it holds the monthly pivot here at 3.845, I'm leaning towards seeing retest this high, and I've still got a target above, very attractive Fibonacci target at 5.75. On GC, we had this tiny little almost so small it was just difficult to chart. But we had a tiny little head shoulders broke down, didn't quite make target, and I'm thinking that may well make target today, just a modest retrace. On silver, we broke the rising support trend line. We've got a double top that's broken down with a target a little lower, and I'm thinking again that's probably going to make target. We have got a 60-minute buy signal fixed there. HG is heading for 520. That is a big retest level. Haven't quite made it yet, but I think we're going to. I've got to say, I'm thinking this might be the second high of a double top. Get there or go a little higher, and we will see. But we've got a potential double top there, and I have to say, I think the world is probably going into recession at this stage, and Dr. Copper is called Dr. Copper because it is highly sensitive to economic activity. If we are going to if we're going into recessions, chances are Dr. Copper is going to go down. USD, we've got a little double top here, which is trying to break down. Not a lot else to see on the other currencies. On KC, I'm still wondering about an ABC flag here, maybe go lower into about 355. This could, of course, be a triangle forming, which is an alternative. Either way, I think this is a bull flag setting up a retest of the high. On SB, went back, retested this high, keeping an open mind on what we do from here. We had a weak 60-minute sell signal has reached the possible there, missed target now, and we've got a little double top which is trying to break down with a target in about the 1910 area. I'm thinking we may well see a significant downtrend in sugar starting from here. On CC, nice looking little double bottom. I'm quite liking this on a breakup. Bigger picture, I'm starting to lean towards the downside on this. Wheat, this looks like a bear flag that has broken down, and I think it may well be. Thinking about more downside there too. Corn may well be heading lower as well. Soy, we've got a nice looking little triangle forming here, and this is, if it is a triangle, it's a bearish triangle, and we'll be setting up a retest of this low. On cotton, we've got a head and shoulders here. It's broken down and it's made target. No real indication one way or another, but I am wondering about a retest of this low. On lumber, wondering about a retest of this high here. That could be the second high of a double top, or it could go a bit higher. On live cattle, we had a nice looking rising wedge form here, and that has broken down. So I'm thinking we're probably going to see some more retracement here. And on lean hogs, we've been holding so far this consolidation area here. If it is a consolidation here, chances are the next move will be up. So we shall see. All right, great. In that case, let's have a look at questions. Yep. My pleasure as always, guys. All right. I'm leaning towards flags forming here. I think we are in the C wave up, and I think we're probably going to see an end to that on most likely tomorrow or Wednesday. And I'm waiting to see where it goes today. I have to say we've made more progress than I was expecting overnight. But I think I'm hoping by the end of the day, by tomorrow's webinar, we will have some settled idea of where the flag resistance is likely to be. We will see how that goes. But I think we are very much leaning towards the bear flag option rather than these promising looking patterns, which don't look as though they can, in the main, going to make target. We will see. But we are likely to see at the open the start of daily middle band tests across the boards on equity indices. That is the obvious resistance. And I've got to say, I think we're either looking at a breakup or fail, or they hold as resistance. We shall see. All right, great. In that case, I think that's a wrap. I will catch you guys tomorrow morning.